So pretty much this is just to go through some of the basics and how to use a website called 80s Upgrade and WoWSims. So actually, I'm gonna go ahead and actually share another.
On that one.
Can you see that this screen right now? 80s Upgrade.
We can.
Okay. All right. So pretty much what 80s Upgrade is a website that allows you to pretty much have a live copy of your character in WoW. And the way I use it is as you reach a new 80 and you're trying to get gear, every time you get gear, your stats changes, right? And especially
Yeah.
for DPS, which is your hit, and for melee, which is your hit and expertise, right? And it just gets annoying and expensive every time your gear changes because you pretty much become off balance. So you gotta have to figure out what gems, what enchants you need to do, and all of that. And like I say, it can get really expensive. So 80 upgrades pretty much just saves you a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of hassle on doing that. So, but before going to 80's upgrade, we need to know some of the basics. And some of the basics is for every DPS class, your number one soft cap is hit. If you don't soft cap your hit, you're gonna be missing hitting the boss. Now, your hit soft cap depends on your raid comp. For casters, if there is a boomy in the raid, they give you if they're spec for it, which most boomy are, they give you a 3% extra hit on a target. So for casters, usually you have to be 17% hit rating. Now you only have to be 14, right? And for example, for mages, there is a talent point depending on which type of mage you are, king mage, fire mage. That you can actually get up to 6% extra hit points just by talent tree. So if you add 6% plus 3% on a boomy, that is 9% that you can save off soft capping, and you can put different gems. So all of those different calculation, it really changes depending on your talents, depending on your rate comp. But the basic for every DPS class is, are you hit capped? And for melee, it becomes, are you hit capped and are you expertise capped? Because if you're not expertise capped and you hitting the boss from behind, he's gonna dodge you. So especially for us feral druids, we cannot be dodged. If we dodge, there's a lot of DPS comes from getting some of our combo points. If we miss that combo point, then that's a lot of DPS that we lose. So for us feral druids, we maintain those soft caps. And there are websites out there like where there you go, like Wowhead, that will tell you pretty much for your class. If you Google your class and your spec, and you go to Wowhead, and there's also Icy Veins, they tell you exactly, what is the end game, what is the game spec, what is the game build, and all of that. If you go to Stapper, and I'm going through my Federal Druid here, it tells me strength, hit rating, agility. These are the things that I have to concentrate on. Don't take it like a Bible, take it as reference, because depending on your gear is depending on how you're going to reach your soft cap levels. But this is just these websites tells you pretty much what type of stats you need to start focus on once you start reaching your soft cap. But anyway, so for me, one of the things that I like to keep is hit rating and expertise. Those are the two soft caps I maintain within my Feral Druid. So how 80s upgrades helps me is, here in 80s upgrades, you can go ahead and create a character. All right. So when you create a character, pretty much you select, whatever character you have. Now, it's good that you select the proper character, because some characters has extra abilities depending on the class you are, on the race you are. So make sure you select the right class and the right race, because you have some racial abilities that comes with that. Let me go ahead and do this on. Give me one quick second. Voice activity. There you go. All right. So pretty much in here, like for me, I'm a Tauren. I will select a Druid, and I will say customize. Here, I will put my name, Ozzie Talks. Boom. What realm I'm gonna be? I'm Windseeker, level 80, Ozzie Talks, and create. So now I have my character pretty much have nothing on. So in here, you're going to go ahead and click create. Once you click create, you're going to create your first set. So here in your first set, I'm going to call it my DPS set. On my DPS set, I'm going to call it what talents and specialization I am. I am a feral combat. What phase in the game I am in. At the beginning, I started with Nax, but now we are phase 2 Odoar. So we pick phase 2 Odoar. Equivalent point. The only thing you have to click on it, but you have to, right here where it says preset point, you just have to pick which one belongs to you. For me, it will be Feral DPS phase 2, because we are right now on phase 2. So click that, don't mess with any of this, and just say add. Once you say add, just say create. Now you have started your first DPS set. So here is where you start building exactly what your DPS set is in the game. So in the game, I will go into my characters and I will literally look for one to one, and I start putting exactly from the gem all the way to enchant exactly how it is. So if I go back into my my character, I can go, okay, the head is Conquerors. Well, it's right there. The Conquerors Knights on Head cards. Okay, well, this one, what meta gems are available? It will tell you all of the meta gems available in phase 2. You know, you can be, oh man, that's good one up. But for us, it's 21 agility, 3% crit. Boom. Now, red socket. Do I want to match the red socket or not? I mean, well, what does it take to enable this meta gem? It takes one red, one blue, one yellow. I have to keep that in mind when I'm gemming my stuff. So I will just go ahead and pick whatever it is, and one by one, I try to build my character. Since I already have done this, this is exactly how my character is in WoW. So here's WoW. Here's my character, and all of this is exactly the same. Now, one thing I go by to make sure it's exactly the same is my hit rating. So right here, hit rating is 264 and expertise 28. When I go back into my 80s upgrade, hit rating 264. You see it right there, 264, and expertise 28. Once those two match, I know my gear set is identical. In here, you also have to put in your talent tree, how you are set up in your talent tree, because this changes on your stats in WoW in 80s upgrade. It changes how your stats are depending on what talents you have selected. For example, like I said, if Ash Druid would have a, for example, right here, Primal Precision, right? This one gives us 10 expertise by doing 2 points. If I was to unselect one on my gear, now my expertise went down to 23, right? So if I go to my talent points and say, well, let me put one more, now my expertise is at 28. So these stats changes depending on your talent tree. And I'm saying this is what keeps you sane instead of you going and having to respec and relearn your talents for when you made a oops. Here is a nice way to play around with your gear and your talents to get you to where you want to be at. Any questions so far?
Didn't there used to be an export?
There is. So and we're gonna export, and we're gonna use the export feature to go towards WoWSims. And you can, so in here also, you can share your build. For example, there's some people that, hey, I have a Feral Druid. This is how I'm built. Can you check me out? They go ahead and share this and copy the link and just send them it via Discord. I can open it, upload it here, and check them out. Like, I will change this, and I can send it back, and they will have it. So we can share our builds, we can share our gear set to see exactly if it's up to par. So if you have somebody that you're comfortable, that they know their class and they know how to play it, this is a nice way for you to collaborate with them and share your build and share your gear scores, and they can give you some info, some feedback on exactly how you are gearing up or how you're speccing your character. But like I was saying,
Gotcha. I was actually talking about there's no way to export from WoW. There used to be like WoW Armory.
Yes, no, I have not found that feature. If somebody else does know that feature, that'd be great, but I have not. So at the beginning, it's a manual thing. But the thing on it is that once you're already built, right? Your template on how your character is. If tomorrow, right, you get a new piece of loot, for example, for me, I'm looking for my weapon, right? I am doing 25 hard mode with Ozzie to try to get my best weapon, the Dreambinder. As soon as I get this weapon, now my stats is going to change. I'm sorry, not this one. I'm trying to go for the Torture Earth. As soon as I get Torture Earth, my stat changes. Now I'm hit at 328, which is I'm way over capped. I need to take my hit down to 263 because I'm supposed to be at 8% hit rating. That's my soft cap. Otherwise, there's diminishing returns if you go above the soft cap. So in here, oh man, where do I now lose hit? So here is where I start playing around. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, my gloves, I can change my gloves to the other gloves that I have that doesn't have hit, which is my Conquerors. And boom, I'm now at 790. Well, I'm 0.10% short. Okay, well, where do I get a hit? Okay, well, I can probably gem here this one for, let's say, I'm going to say hit. Boom, hit. Am I now? I'm 8.39. Great, I'm happy with that. And then I can, so you see how just regemming is so easy. And once you reach it to a nice state, then you can go bow to wow. Then you can buy your gems or your enchants that you need, and then you can gem it. It saves you a lot of time and it saves you a lot of headache. Okay, so that's how I use 80s upgrade. I'm pretty sure there's more ways to using 80 grades. That's how I use it. Another thing that 80s upgrade also have is different buffs. If you want to see how your stats here changes depending on what buffs is available, depending on your rate com, you can go ahead and select it. I don't play around much on this one because this is not really WoWSims. Other than telling me what stats I have, it really doesn't tell me how well I perform. So now we're gonna go into WoWSims. Now that I have built and let me change this to my current right now, which is, I guess, this guy. And this guy was Stonekeeper, and I believe this was, I don't even know what this was. 8 agility, 8 grit. Okay, so I go back to my thing. I have put the 8 agility, 8 grit here on. Nope, nope, nope. 8 agility, 8 grit. Okay, now I am just exactly how my character is. Now I want to see, well, how well do I perform here with this set? So what I would do is click these 3 little dots and say export. I will copy to clipboard. Then I will go to WoWSims. This is a WoW simulator. You select your class. I'm a Druid Pharaoh. Boom. It already preloaded some things I was playing around with already, but you will go to import from 80s upgrade, ADU, and you will go ahead and just say import, well, paste, import successful. Boom. Here is exactly what my gear is in WoW. But when I click simulate, it says I'm supposed to be doing 9.5K, right? So, but if I go right now into my into the dummy, and the dummy that you're gonna test your DPS is one of these heroic training dummies. So if I go to here and I do what I have to do, I'm gonna give it a few seconds. Just give me, right, my DPS right now, if you see it, it's a 5, 4.9, 5.7, 6.6. Okay, and mind you that boom, 7.1, and I'm trying really hard to get to 9, but I'm like, why I'm not getting to that 9? And then it's starting to come down because I have used all of my good cooldowns, right? So now it's gonna try to level itself, right? I'm a 5.8, 5.9. All right. So why am I not hitting 9.0 like 9.7 like WoWSims is doing? Well, if you go to WoWSims, you gotta go to settings and make sure you go naked. And by naked, I mean this one is assuming that you have all of this rate comp, that you have a poly buff, that you have the attack power buff, you have the melee haste, you have the MP5, all of these things is assuming that you already have. So in order for me to make sure I am gonna do exactly as much as I can when I'm doing it with the hero dummies, I'm gonna go naked. And by naked means only my buffs. So I can do buffs, I can do my pause, I don't do crit, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this, I don't do this. I'm pretty much just going naked. Okay, lust, no lust. I don't have anyone here. I do have fairy fire. I don't have this. I don't have this. This I don't have. I'm not pre-potting, so I'm gonna go ahead and say nope. I'm not using any elixirs. Nope. I'm not using any food. Now, if you are using food to get you to hit rating cap, expertise caps, go ahead and put it. But I'm already soft capped those via my gear, so I'm saying no. Here I do pre-pot clear casting, and assume bleed always active for me is a no. So this is as naked as I can be, only with my buffs and only with the debuffs that I can put out. That's it. Now I go ahead and say simulate. Now it's telling me that my DPS should be around 5.9k DPS. That is what my DPS should be according to the gear that I have. So when I was DPSing on my dummy, I'm at 5.8. So I'm within that 10% mark of WoWSims telling me that what my gear DPS should put at naked. Right now, once I'm going to a raid, depending raid comp, depending warrior, putting sunders on the target, me having all of my raid buffs. Now my DPS is gonna change depending on that, right? But if I want to kind of see it just how it is, go naked, go into one of those hero dummies, and then do the same thing in WoWSims. Okay, so this is how it's telling you if you was to do a perfect execution, that's what's going to be at. But now you also got to keep in mind that you might not or may not do this DPS during raid, because what happens in raid? In raid, oh my God, you have the in XT, you have the light debuff that you have to move to the right, right? Oh, you have the dark debuff that you have to move out to the left, right? All of those movements, all of the things as a utility druid, I have to do tranquility, right? Takes me out of my DPS rotation, which my DPS, of course, is going to decrease. This DPS is solely if you were literally just standing there and all you do is DPSing. There's no other distraction other than DPSing. So that's why I like to use the dummy and like to go naked, because then it would tell me exactly what my DPS should be, because on the dummies, right, I'm not moving around, I'm not doing any mechanics. All I'm doing is going behind this dummy, DPSing it, and boom, seeing exactly what my damage meter is going to be at. So in here, I'm pretty close here, and I've been practicing a lot. I've been practicing a lot because I want to get to that 5.974 that WoWSims telling me that I should be. So I tried to get to there. But then there was a point with me, like I wasn't making that DPS, and I was like, wait, what the heck is wrong with my rotation? You know, I'm doing the right things. I'm going to the dummy. I'm hitting it. I'm everything is pretty much exactly the same. But back then I wasn't doing the DPS I was doing, and there's right here something that you can see it on the log. No, not the log. Where is it? Hold on, let me find it. It's somewhere around here. Timeline. All right, timeline. You go to results and timelines. Here is where I learned how to feral cat, and this is where you will learn how to warlock, how to mage, how to rogue. This is how you learn, because the bot does this imperfection, right? That's what he's supposed to be doing, is executing this ability imperfection. So at 0 seconds, the first thing that he did, he opened with Mango. I used to open with Rake. Well, that made a difference according to the PS, because I used to open with Rake, but no, you're supposed to be open with Mango. The next thing that you do is you do your Savage roll. Then you keep going to timeline. The next one he did Fairy Fire, and boom, and boom. So pretty much it tells you by second what your next spell should be. So in turn, if you really look at this, it's telling you your rotations, how you're supposed to be rotating depending on what cooldowns is available, depending on all that. Is going to give you a timeline on how to do each spells. And not only that, it's also going to tell you exactly if clear casting pop for me. It could pop here, it popped there. My Dark Moon card, it activated here. My other trinket, it activated here. How active my Savage Roar is, how active my Thorns, all of this, it will tell you exactly play by play, second by second, how you are supposed to be performing second by second if you want to reach your top DPS, right? Rotation. That's what this time is called. It's called rotation. So this is the part. This is where I say is the most useful one. They help me increase my DPS on my cat is by looking at this. and how the computer executed the abilities in perfection. Now, we're not going to get perfection, but you should be at least 50% between this number. If you're doing within 50% of this number, then you're good. If you're not, then come over here, put in your gear exactly how it is, click simulate, and look at the timeline on how they're executing this. And make sure your settings is exactly the same, your debuff is exactly the same, and all of that. In here is going to tell you, I mean, there's other things here that's going to tell you how many times you casted this, what debuffs, and all of that, which is great. But for me, it's usually the timeline rotation is where I seen the most advantage on how to improve my DPS. Because when I first started going into this, I was performing at 40% of what they're supposed to be. 40%, and that was a huge DPS increase by me just doing this and reaching to actually within that 15% mark. Right? This is telling me I'm supposed to be 5.974, and in WoW right now I'm at 5.8. I'm happy. That's where I want to be at. Any questions?
That is very cool. I'm gonna do it.
It is. It's just something just for you to just go in there and just play around, And for me, I like Thunder Bluff to go here on the hero dummies because if I need to regem or if I need to re-enchant, it's just across the bridge that I can go and everything's there. If you go to Undercity, if you go Orgrimmar, you have to walk around between the bank and the auction house and the dummy. Is a long walk. But in Thunder Bluff, your dummy's in there. If you want to regem or something, you go over there and you do it. Another thing that I also have, I want to show you is on 80s upgrade, right? I have my characters here and I have different sets. I have an agile set. I have what my bear set is going for, what my heal set is going, and it's not only for DPS. You can keep your tank sets, you keep your heal sets, and you can keep yourself sane here to go ahead. Okay, what's my next what? So when I go to my DPS, I'm like, okay, what is my next upgrade? Oh, okay, it's this one. Okay, I need to. Which one is this one come from? Oh, Hodir. Okay, got it. That's where I need to start focusing on. So this is something that 80s upgrade also will give you is managing your different sets in the game, your healing set, your DPS set, your tank set. Another thing that I do here as well is I was playing around with, okay, this is my agility set, but how about if I gem for pure armor penetration, which some sites are telling me that I should be gemming for armor pen, not agile, armor pen. But when I did that, and the way you do this is I say, okay, well, let me go ahead and make a copy of this because I don't want to mess up my actual set. I'm going to say armor pen here, made exactly the same copy, this identical build, but now I'm going to go armor pen, right? I'm going to pick all of these armor pens. So I'm going to go away from agility because some site like Icy Banes and Wowhead is telling you should only be gemming for armor pen. As a cat, only armor pen. But I have found out that according to the way I play my character and the way my gear is set, armor pen does not work for me. And I'm going to show you why. So right here, I'm going all armor pen because according to these end game websites, I should be on armor pen. So let's go ahead and do armor pen. Oh, here's another armor pen. Here, blue one. Let me find the armor pen here. Armor pen. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's another one. Armor pen. Where is it? Oh, colors. Armor pen. Oh, forgot this guy. This guy is also supposed to be armor pen. Okay, I'm armor pen everywhere. This is pretty much what, and I'm just gonna do that agility. Armor pen. This is what. Yep.
Ozzie, can I interrupt? Did you forego getting any socket bonuses going straight for armor pen, or did you try to adhere to that as well?
So it depends. So that's the thing. So for me, when I try to do my socket bonus, it's like if I'm a DPS, it's nice right here. It's nice to have that 9 stamina.
Oh,
But
yeah.
for
That way
me,
you don't
I
care.
noticed right. So you really have to see exactly which one. Like for this one, red. I mean, I needed to go red anyway, so it didn't matter. But for some other things,
Right.
like for this one, gave me more agility. I'm like, I can probably get more DPS out of this. That's purely just a preference on.
Okay.
Um, uh, yeah, you just have to play around with it on that one. But let's say I went armor pen. What the websites are telling me my end game gem is
Yeah.
supposed to be, right? Oh my god, Pharaoh's supposed to be armor pen. Okay, I'll go armor pen. Let me export this. I'm gonna go ahead and copy to clipboard. I'm gonna go to WoW Simulators. I'm gonna import this armor pen build that is supposed to be. Boom. Okay, everything is armor pen now. Now I'm gonna simulate. Now it's telling me I'm supposed to be at 9.99, right? But for me on my gameplay, for me armor pen did not work for me. Agility worked better for me. So but you see the DPS difference is about 20. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's
I'm
minor.
okay with that because sometimes I have to go bare, and when I have to go bare, armor pen does crap for me, right? So sometimes when I have to go clutch bear, I go bear, and agility gives me armor, and agility gives me dodge, which I can clutch bear and help the raid be the utility druid on the spot. Armor pen doesn't give me that. Agility gives me that. So I take all of those things in consideration on which one is better for me, and that's
Wow.
why I selected for me agility over armor pen. But it's totally up to you which one do you guys want to select. But you regem it, you run it through the simulator, and be like, oh man, yeah, I would like to be 20 more DPS. Sure, then go armor pen. What they're telling you. But and here I have my 2 gears now. I have my DPS with a Jill, and then I have my DPS with armor pen. And you can build different sets. You can play around with it and export it, run it through WoWSims, and see how it's going to perform. Once you reach something that you like, then you want to go ahead and go into WoW and regem to whatever you have chosen. And that's it, guys. That is pretty much these 3 websites. So,
That's
any
very
questions?
cool. Oz, can't thank you enough. That's going to help.
Quick
I hope
question.
so. It helped me.
What was
Yes, sir.
What was the third one? You have 80 upgrades in WoWSim. What was the third website you were talking about?
So the third website I talked about is you can use the Wowhead build class, or you can use the other one. It's called Icy Veins. For some classes, I found Icy Veins to be better than Wowhead. For example, the mages. I found out that the Icy Vein mage info is more accurate than Wowhead, and for Pharaoh, I found out that Wowhead is more accurate than Icy Veins. It's just different writers writing about what they think is the best DPS build is. But you're not you won't go wrong with either one. So it's like in Wowhead World of the Lich King, you can go in there, look at your classes, and there's guides on what stats you should focus on. They even tell you here, they even talk about your rotations and cooldowns, like a Feral Cat. Feral Cat, there's a lot of things you got to do in Feral Cat, but it tells you exactly if this, then this, if this, then this, if this, tells you exactly how to manage your Feral Cat. Now, Feral Cat has been one of the hardest things that I have learned how to DPS with, because there's a lot of things that you have to manage, and there is a lot of if then. If you have Rift, then this. If you have Berserk, then this. There's a lot of if and then this. It's not a straight DPS characters. But for like my mage, I like playing my mage because it's like, okay, you do fire, blah, blah, blah. Once you get your pyro, you do your this. I mean, it's a little more straightforward. But it will tell you how to do your rotations, how to do your cooldowns. It will give you some nice little info on your class. Same thing as Icy Veins. Icy Veins will do that as well for you. And they have different builds that you can play around with it. But that's it. Any questions? Any other questions? Nope. Okay, well then that concludes this. Hopefully you guys have a use for it. I definitely it helped me increase my DPS.